Welcome to StorySpree Studios. We're thrilled to have you here, where creativity knows no bounds. Whether you're here for captivating stories, animations, or thought-provoking visuals, you've come to the right place. At StorySpree Studios, we bring imagination to life, one story at a time. Sit back, relax, and let's take this journey together. Thanks for being part of the adventure. What if the shadow you fear has been watching you for years, waiting for the perfect moment to speak? It was a quiet, crisp morning in the small town of Hollow Creek. The sun barely peeked over the horizon, casting a soft golden light on the streets that would soon buzz with life. Birds sang their usual tunes, and the wind rustled the leaves of the old oak trees that lined the town. Everything seemed peaceful, normal, even. But something felt off. At the edge of town, in a small, weathered house, lived Emily Thompson, a young woman with a fierce sense of curiosity. Ever since she was a child, she'd heard whispers about the forest that bordered the town. People spoke of strange occurrences, and most unsettling of all, the silent shadow. A mysterious figure that appeared at dusk and vanished by sunrise, leaving nothing behind except a chilling sense of dread. Emily had heard these stories all her life. But what troubled her most was how people seemed to avoid talking about it, almost like they were afraid of something, or someone. And Emily, ever the skeptic, was determined to find out what really lurked in those woods. Sitting in her cozy living room with a steaming cup of coffee, Emily gazed out the window toward the dense forest beyond the town. Could it be true? Could there really be something out there? Her fingers clenched around the cup, her curiosity slowly overtaking her rational thoughts. The chill of the morning air brushed against the window, and for a moment, she thought she saw a shadow move in the distance. No, she shook her head. It was just her imagination. But something gnawed at her. What if there was more to this than anyone was willing to admit? The fair was in full swing by the time Emily stepped outside. The town square was bustling with activity, families gathered, kids ran around with cotton candy, and music played from the nearby bandstand. But Emily's mind was far from the festivities. Her thoughts were in the woods. She told herself it was just a story, a myth passed down through generations to make the forest seem more mysterious. But the idea of the silent shadow, something so unknowable, kept her up at night. What was it that everyone was so afraid of? And then, as if on cue, she saw it, a fleeting glimpse of something dark, moving among the trees, just at the edge of the forest. Her heart skipped a beat, and her instincts screamed at her to run. But instead, Emily found herself walking toward it. The next day, Emily stood at the entrance to the woods, her heart pounding in her chest. The air was thick, heavy with tension. The trees loomed above her, their gnarled branches swaying in the wind. For a moment, everything felt wrong. The wind stopped, the birds ceased their song, and a deep silence fell over the forest. Her footsteps echoed as she ventured deeper, the path narrowing with every step. She could feel it, something was watching her. But what was it? A sudden rustle to her left made her spin around, but there was nothing there. Her breath caught in her throat. Had she imagined it? She pressed on, determined to uncover the truth. The deeper she went, the more the forest seemed to close in around her. And then, she saw it. It was at least 6 feet tall, standing motionless between the trees. A figure cloaked in darkness. It had no discernible features, just a swirling mass of shadows that seemed to breathe and shift with the wind. Emily froze, her heart hammering in her chest. It didn't move. She stepped closer, her breath shallow, and inched forward as though she were being pulled toward it. The air grew colder, and the shadows around her seemed to stretch longer, reaching for her. "Who's there?" Emily called out, her voice trembling more than she expected. There was no response, just silence. The figure didn't answer. Instinctively, Emily reached out, her hand trembling as she neared the figure. But just as her fingers brushed the cold air near it, the shadow pulled away, retreating into the deeper woods. The ground beneath her seemed to tremble, and Emily took a step back, her heart racing. She wasn't sure what she had seen, but one thing was certain, the shadow was alive. The following night, Emily couldn't shake the image of the shadow from her mind. She had to go back. She had to know what it was. As much as fear gnawed at her, her curiosity was stronger. Under the cover of darkness, she returned to the forest, the eerie silence surrounding her. This time, she wasn't alone. The shadow followed her. It slithered between the trees, moving with an unnatural grace. Emily could feel it inching closer, the weight of its presence almost suffocating. The air grew colder, the forest darker, and every step she took felt heavier than the last. Emily stopped, her heart racing in her chest. She spun around, but the shadow was no longer just behind her, it was beside her, as though it had always been there, waiting for her to notice. A deep, booming voice, unlike anything she had heard before, echoed in her mind. "You've come too far. The truth is not for you to know." Emily's breath caught in her throat. It was speaking. "Who are you?" she whispered, her voice barely audible. "I am the Forgotten," the voice answered, its tone cold and distant. "I am the truth you dare not seek. I am the shadow that has been watching you, waiting." Emily staggered back, her mind reeling. The shadow had a voice. And it wasn't just any voice, it was ancient. A voice from beyond the forest, beyond the town. It was a voice that belonged to something far older than the town itself, something that had been there long before the first settlers arrived. "Why me?" Emily managed to ask, her voice shaking. "You sought the truth," the shadow whispered. "But truth is not a gift. It is a burden." Emily felt the weight of its words pressing on her chest, suffocating her. She wanted to run, but her legs refused to move. The shadow was in control now. It had claimed her. The shadow retreated into the darkness, leaving Emily alone in the silent forest. Her thoughts were racing, her mind struggling to grasp what had just happened. She had sought the truth, but the cost had been higher than she had ever imagined. As she made her way back to the edge of the woods, she could still feel the presence of the shadow following her, even though it was no longer there. And deep inside, she knew that the forest held secrets, secrets that would never be revealed, no matter how hard she tried. The silent shadow was always watching. And now, it knew her name. The question remained. Had Emily uncovered the truth, or had she merely become a part of a story that was never meant to be told? Welcome again to StorySpree Studios. Do like, share and subscribe. Don't forget to press the bell icon so you will never miss an update. Your support means a lot. Thank you and have a good day ahead.